Good morning, good morning. It is October 22nd, 2025. It is Wednesday, everyone. Welcome back to the Trading Alchemist. So, I haven't recorded in a while. I've been pretty busy, but the markets continue on. And yeah, let's take a look at what happened. So, let's go from where we left off. Last we left off, we were over in this section here. Holy bananas. I got to fix that pen. There we go. This is better. So last we left off, we were in this section. We just got this massive dump from some kind of news that was put out there, and yeah, we kind of rinsed the range a bit, and this is kind of where we left off. And last I said was I marked out this area, and I said that I would be looking to get a long in this area if we hit, and lo and behold, it hit this area. So if you were able to get a long in this section right over here. And yeah, that's a pretty nice move. Let's actually check what this move would have been. Let's just pretend that you've got this red line here, because that red line was actually where I said we would probably hit, and this is the order block below. So you're looking at about, yeah, that's over 8% move. So that's a pretty solid trade right there, if you had the patience enough to wait. Now, one thing that you're going to notice is that this did run up before it went down, but I wasn't paying attention to what was happening on all of that. What I was concentrating on was this wick right over here, and what I said was that this wick needs to be filled out by a bunch of candles on this side, and it did. It took its time to get there, and it did look like it was taking a run for it, but notice where it bounced. It bounced or where it rejected. It rejected off of the 50% line on the range that we were previously looking at, right? So these things they're not coincidences. This is just how the chart moves. Okay, so now let's take a look at exactly what's going on over here. All right, now there's a few things that are going on. First of all, notice this range over here that we've kind of tapped into. Now this block, this green block right over here, this block is this block right over here is actually the top of this range. Okay, so let's just make sure that we've kind of like hold that in. So this all right over here is the top of the previous range. And notice that we are kind of blending in to the previous range. Now, the thing about the previous range is just like what we have over here, we've got a midline, some golden pockets that are sitting here, right? A top of the range and a bottom of the range. This also has the same thing. This line right over here is the middle of the range, right? But here's what I'm noticing. Well, first of all, the reason why I wanted to long in this section was because we would be coming towards the bottom of this previous range. Okay, so now here's what I'm thinking, looking at this chart, is this. First of all, this now is mitigated right there. That wick is now completely filled out. Notice that we've got this move over here, though. This move was done yesterday. And it created a very long wick on the top there. Now, just like the bottom wick, the top wicks also need to be filled out, but there's a little bit of a difference. Because this was rejected, basically we are now on this range right over here, okay? So, now that we're on this range, we are basically in this area, which is the short area, and this is the long area right over here, right? What I'm thinking is this. If you take a look at this, first of all, that candle has a nice wick here, and this didn't really go to the back of the to the bottom of this order block, right? But if you notice, there's this guy right over here. So what I'm thinking is, we come back over here and we retest this zone. Now, I want to be like really clear about this. This chart doesn't feel like we are going into a bear market. I don't feel like that at all. What I feel like is we are in a downtrend, but I'm actually feeling like this is now a full range. Like what I'm saying is that this range here, which was the previous range, and this range over here that we were stuck in, is starting to feel like one big range. So let me adjust a couple things for a minute. First of all, I'm going to take this now, and let me move this, let me shrink this down here so that we somewhat have it, but we don't lose it completely, right? So let's grab a couple of these things here. Okay, let me pull that out. so I know what I'm touching here. There we go. So let's knock that down lower, right? I'll take out this long word so we're not confused. Come on, what is happening here? Okay, let me get rid of, let me leave this on. I actually just added this on here. That's a change of character. Let's get rid of some of these things. Let's clean up all of this. Let's get this out. Come on. What am I double clicking here? Oh my goodness. Why is this doing this? Okay, let's get that. Let's get that. Let's get some of these things out the way. Let's take this. Let's shrink this down. Sorry, you're just going to have to bear with my cleaning up here. Oh, not that one. I want this arrow. Man, my thing is so sensitive today. There we go. Okay, great. All right. Okay, cool. So if I take this line here, and let's just move this. I think I got a double click going on in here. Silly. Take this line. Let's move this over here. Move that there. Let's pull this up top. Okay, like this. Let's pull this out. Like so. Let's get rid of this line. Let's get rid of this line. Let's pull this out over here. Just like so. Let's get rid of this line. Let's get rid of this line. And let's knock these down. Here. Let's get rid of this. Take this. Come on. Hide. There you go. Good. Let's clean up these charts. Get rid of that right there. Let's pull that out. Okay. This is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that this is now our full range. Now, if this is our full range here, I'll get rid of some of this stuff here. Let's get rid of that word there. Do I got a word there? Yeah, this was something that I had before. Let's get rid of this stuff. Let's get rid of that. Yeah, we're changing anew here. Okay. Done, 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 done. Great. All right, let's take a look at this now. Let's take this and let's do a fib here, right? And now let's get this 50% line in here, just like so. I gotta use this one. Let's go. I'm having trouble with my mouse today. Okay. That's not the right one. We want to do a trend line. Okay, there we go. Right there. Okay. Go 50% line. Right, so we have that. And let's get our golden pockets in here, right? This is our golden pocket right over here. There we go, right there. Let's golden pocket. Let's get that. I got something going on with my mouse, and I am not liking it. There we go. Let's take this. Man, the whole video is just going to be me setting up. Right, let's get rid of this right here. That right here. Okay, good. That looks about right. Okay, so this is what it feels like now to me. Yeah, I'm really kind of like getting annoyed by this. I don't want to use my mouse, but I got to use my mouse. Okay. Okay, so this is what it feels like to me. This looks like the range was absorbed. Okay, and because it was absorbed now, this is the area I am looking for a heavy long, because I'm looking for this wick to be taken out. Now, if we come down over here and we tap over here and we reclaim this, then I think I think we're going to be running up back to the top of this range, right? I am looking for a run. I mean, like a pretty significant move up, and this is what I'm setting up for. So that is my idea at this point. I am looking in this spot right here for a long, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a long right in this section. Okay, notice that this is the previous range over here. Now, let's go take a look at that, because this is a little bit more information that we can kind of run on, right? So if this was the previous range and this was the breakout, right? This is not really set up. Let's pull this out like this, and let's take this line right there. Let's bring it to the top. No, yeah, no, this is right. This is right. Okay, this is, let's see what the spread is here. Let's go from here to here. Yeah, it's about a 5% range over here. Okay, so I would not be surprised if we come into this section right over here, take this wick out, maybe tap this one, like just in this section, right? And then bounce right back into this zone. So that's what I'll be looking for. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull this line out right over here, and then I'm going to make a box right in this zone right there. And I can move this back. Let's get rid of this. Yep. This is my long. Okay. Let's change this name here so you have this. This is range. No, that's okay. I'll leave this like this right here. That's fine. Right? So this is kind of my target. Now, pop that in there. This is what I'm looking for. What number is that? That is around 98,700, maybe around there, something like that. So yeah, that's my look. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for this wick to be taken out. So I will be looking for a long in this range right there. That's what I'll be looking to build a long on, right? And especially the fact that it hit over here, I would not be surprised if we come and we tap this bottom, right? And this is where I'm going to start building my long. We'll see how it works right there. But I am looking for this candle to be taken out. That's what I'm looking for. So that's that. Let's go take a look over at Ethereum. I think this video is becoming a little long. I don't know if it's necessary to go this long. So let me try to keep this one quick, because I spent like a good 5 minutes readjusting my chart. It's just fine. So looking at this right here, damn, look at all these lines. We're getting funky here, right? So let's take a look. I am looking for it to come down over here. Now I took a long right over here. I took profit along the way, pretty solid profit, and I left a bagger in here. But what I'm looking for is I'm looking for Ethereum to come back over into this spot right over here. I'm looking for it to come and tap. And again, this is feeling the same as if like this is a bigger range, right? Like this could very well be the beginning of the range, the top of the range, back down, you know, and this could be our play zone right over here, which feels about right. Now, the other thing is, if I were to knock all of these, off the chart, all my markings off the chart, we've got this pattern that's happening. First of all, this was the breakout zone right over here, so we'll take note on that, right? This is the breakout zone right there, and this is looking like we've got a possible head and shoulders, right? It's a possible head and shoulders pattern forming, which this would end up being the target somewhere along the line. I'm not there yet. I'm not quite convinced yet, but I am convinced that this candle does need to be taken out. And of course, we had a previous support over here, and it was tested. This was a news-driven kind of drop. And I would love to see it kind of tap back over here, build some support, and then run back up. So that's what I'm looking for Ethereum. Right now, I am not, I do think that I'm in an Ethereum long, but I'm from the bottom. I'm still holding on to this little bagger. It's not really much, but I'm using it as kind of a guide right now, some kind of indication to how much it's dropped. I could have taken a short somewhere along here, especially if you notice, like, look what happened. This area became resistance, and it's from the previous support of this section right over here. So, but again, I've been busy. I haven't been able to. So I am going to be looking for a long in those sections and kind of wait to see how the chart plays out. All right, guys, hope this was helpful. If you are enjoying this content, please feel free to click like and subscribe. You know, we're looking to build a community here, and don't be afraid to, you know, comment below with any questions. Reach out to us if you need anything. And yeah, hopefully you find this helpful. All right, guys. Talk to you soon. Thanks.